Good morning. Welcome to the Brew. It's Friday. That means Paulina's with us. We are going to talk about the software sector. The software sector. We are going to talk about winners and losers there. We're also going to talk about the best performing stock in 2024. This one may surprise you. And finally, a little touch on sports betting, one of my favorites. So let's get to it after the bell. There it is. Paulina, there it is. Yep.
It's a good one. I like it.
That's a good one. By the way, we kind of match. And
we do. We're kind of matching today. Yeah.
What? How did that happen? We didn't even plan that.
I know. Great minds think alike.
I know. That's what I like to say. So happy Friday. Another week almost in the bag, right?
Yep. It's a busy week shaping up to be. So excited for the weekend.
Yes, I know. I love it. Sadly, no Molly again. She's been overwhelmed, just working so hard. No, I'm teasing. She has been working hard. She always works hard, but lots going on. So she has to take a little bit of a breather here. So R&R for her. But you and I, let's get to it. Mm-hmm. So winners and losers in the software sector. So first of all, when I think of software, is it right for me to think Microsoft still, or are they so far out in the outer space with other things?
No, absolutely. Microsoft is one of the top software companies out there. Yeah. Of course, now we know other companies that are traditionally thought of as tech. They're getting to the software space, like Google. They have a cloud business and they have their own services as well. But there are traditional software companies. It's a very big sector. And I did a bit of a deep dive into it and found some winners and losers. And there is a trend among the winners and a trend among the losers too. So I wanted to highlight those, and it's reflective in their stock prices as well. Okay. So basically, over the past couple years, the software sector has been pretty slow. And that's because there are a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons that is pretty common amongst all the companies that have been, suffering in this environment right now is that a lot of companies are cutting back their expenses in software services. So we've seen a decline in some of the companies, but there are two companies that caught my eye. One is SAP. They have a lot of enterprise solutions. So large companies use their services for automation purposes and different processes to make their businesses run smoothly. And you might not have heard of it too much because they do a lot of business in Europe, but they do have a North American business as well. So SAP, its stock is up 34% year to date. Okay. And there's another one that we're more familiar with, Oracle. They have an important software business as well, of course, and their stock is up 22% year to date. The losers, so there's two losers here that are really striking. Atlassian down 40% year to date, and Snowflake down 38% year to date.
Okay, so what are those? I've never heard of either one of those, although I sometimes call someone a snowflake. They call me that. You snowflake. I don't think that's good. But anyway.
So Snowflake, I want to say, is a little bit more new versus the other three names. So they have a data cloud platform. Okay. And they essentially they have big customers like the big tech companies. They use their services in order to store data in the cloud. So you have on-premise data warehousing and cloud data warehousing, and cloud is just is off-premise. You have it in the cloud, and it's a tech way of saying having the data not stored where the company is physically.
So let me ask. So is the cloud kind of the cool kids spot to be? More or less,
Exactly.
if you're not there, you're probably not kicking it out of the park.
Right. Over the past couple of years,
Okay.
companies have been moving their data from on-premise to the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why these companies are giving a lot of their data, their
Sure.
cloud services more emphasis.
Okay, got it. So, I think, geez, we use the cloud, for God's sake. So the cloud's everywhere, right?
Mhm.
That probably means then that all these security software type companies have a new place in the environment, right? Because if you're putting stuff to the cloud, you have to have security. So
Absolutely.
firms like that must be just cranking it too. I know you don't have them on your list here. We'll do that another time. But they must be killing it as well, right?
Oh, for sure. That's an adjacent sector that's really been
Yeah.
doing very well as more and more data is on the cloud. It's in the internet that makes for more vulnerabilities for hackers
Yep.
to take that data and use it as they wish.
Mhm.
So we should definitely talk about that another time. But
Yep.
what's really driving the winners here in the software space versus the losers is that they're adopting generative artificial intelligence into their enterprise solutions. And
Okay.
because everybody wants to be in the AI business in order to make their work more efficient,
Mhm.
and maybe even reduce employee count, they are leaning towards services that have more AI
Got it.
factored into their enterprise solutions. So that's why SAP is doing well. Oracle, they're also leveraging AI in their cloud services. And you see
Mhm.
that reflected in both of the company's latest earnings reports. And that's essentially why. Versus Atlassian and Snowflake,
Mhm.
they're kind of late in the game. They're currently investing heavily right now in AI to meet demands for their customers, but that requires a lot of investment, and in the short term, that's going to impact their margins and profitability. So that's why investor sentiment is kind of slow for those two companies right
Sure.
now.
Sure. Okay. Got it. Wow. Those are some big differences, right?
Mhm.
Up 34, down 38. That's a monster. Okay. Let's go to topic number 2. I would have never guessed this. Best performing stock, or stocks you say, but stock in 2024.
I would say
So,
it's one of the best performing stocks.
oh, one of. Okay. Gotcha. Sorry. One of the, you did say that. My bad. I just can't read. Well, it's just my problem. So one of the best performing stocks in 2024, and it's not a tech stock, is it? Tell
No,
us. Pray tell.
I thought
Paulina.
this was an exciting one because everybody thinks of technology when you think of best performing stocks. But this
Yeah.
Eli Lilly is the stock that we're talking about, and it's in the biopharmaceutical industry. And Lilly stock has been killing it in 2024. The company just blew their revenue and earnings out of the park recently. Their revenue grew 36% year over year. What's driving that growth? Well,
Mhm.
there's a few things. So Eli Lilly is the company that has the Mounjaro trizepatide, which is it's the treatment for diabetes, but
Mhm.
I think it also got approved for weight loss. But they have a lot of other products
Is
as
that
well.
Ozempic?
So Novo Nordisk is Ozempic and
Yeah.
Wegovy,
Yeah.
that company is also doing really well. But I think Eli Lilly is actually even performing better than Novo.
Okay. Got it.
So yeah, there's really high demand for Mounjaro and Zepbound. Those are the treatments for diabetes and weight
Mhm.
management. They have so much demand, they can't even meet, they don't even have enough supply. So they're actually investing billions of dollars to build new warehouses to, make more of their treatments.
Right.
They also have an Alzheimer's drug that recently got approval. And in their latest earnings report, they said they submitted another treatment for sleep apnea. So they're doing pretty well here. Their stock, we should have said this at the top, is up 53% year to date. It's at $890 per share right now.
Yep.
So it's been performing really well, but some investors are concerned around the PE multiple. It's a little expensive right now, which is a lot higher than the PE competitors like Pfizer and Merck, which are trading at much cheaper valuations.
Right. I think the PE of Lilly is in the 109 range, if I'm reading this right. Holy cow, that seems really high for this type of stock, right?
Yeah, and comparing it to the historical average of its stock, it's also very high as well. So
yeah. Wow. So Lilly, I would never have guessed this. Here's the funny thing. I used to trade this stock. It was one of our DPM stocks back in the day. So this was a big trading stock. You know, it was one of our best option stocks. If you asked me to tell you what the price of this stock is today, I would have guessed, like I always guess, about 85.
mhm.
I'd be a 10x off. It's 880, 890, as you said.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I would never have guessed that. It's crazy. It had a little rough day today, though, but who cares? After I hit the 1 year, or I'm sorry, the year to date, you're right. It's up there.
Mhm.
It's nuts. It's up 292 points year to date.
It's pretty impressive. Yeah, and the thing is, there's no the demand for their weight loss drugs and obesity treatments. It's through the roof. It's not stopping. So that's making a lot of investors more bullish.
Can you give me one of these when it's like a baby stock, when it's a little baby, like a little baby, I can hold it and it's like, you know, $30 or $5 and I can buy like 1 million shares and then it goes to 890 when we're talking one day. I promise I will give good presents.
Yeah. Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
All right. Good presents come to all. Okay. All right. Moving along. This one I like. Well, you know, I love sports. So sports betting, the sports betting industry, Goldman is saying that this is going to be a monster, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I got to be honest. It's got to already be a monster, but it's going to be a bigger monster, right? So
Yeah.
tell me about what's going on here, and you know, relative to Goldman's report and the sports betting industry. My God, it's on my phone now.
I know it's very accessible now, and Goldman Sachs believes that people are going to be spending $45 billion a year in sports betting.
Wow.
They think that even though consumers right now are extremely pinched and they're cutting back on a lot of discretionary spend and they're focused on getting the best bang for their buck, they're still consumers in the future are still going to be allocating a lot of their money towards sports betting. And it's only the tip of the iceberg. I think recently they said that the market reached a $10 billion annual run rate, but they think it's going to go to 45 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going to drive that? More customers getting into the market, more state openings.
Mm-hmm.
Sports betting is not legalized in many states right now.
Yep.
New York and New Jersey are the most popular states for sports betting, but as more states get approval, and you know, more customers are going to come into the business, and that's naturally going to grow into a maturing market over time.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very excited about sports betting.
Yeah. So I think sports betting is legal in what, 38 states? I think that's what I'm seeing online here. So roughly 38 states, let's call it.
Mm-hmm.
So was it 12-ish if you don't include the Washington D.C., the District of Columbia?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Washington D.C. No, it says Washington D.C. does not allow it. Okay. So we got a little bit to go still to get them all. 45 billion, huh? Well, I guess that makes sense to me. You know, I got to be honest. Every young adult, at least, you know, I my kids are young adults, so they're on their phone betting, and it's crazy because intra game you can start betting on who's going to make the next touchdown in a football game, or you know, next interception. I'm like, oh my God, mind numbing.
Yeah, it makes the game more exciting. You have skin in the game. You're more, you know, invested, and yeah, the market apparently, according to Goldman and their checks, is going to keep growing as more states legalize it, and as more people get into the market.
Okay. Who are the top players in this? Did you say that yet? No.
Yeah, so there's DraftKings,
I see that.
and Flutter Entertainment. They're the parent company of FanDuel. They're doing very well as well. It's I feel like right now it's a duopoly. There have been smaller players, but those are being they're actually shutting down. But you have these two big players that have been doing really well.
Okay. Yeah. When I saw Flutter in the notes, I I was gonna ask you, is that FanDuel, but you said it, so I'm glad you said it because that's the only two I know are DraftKings and FanDuel. Those are the only two I know, and I think I shouldn't probably say this, but I got one of those two on my phone. I don't remember which one. I don't use it very much. I'm not a good sports bettor. I will be honest. That's not like trading to me. Right. If I could make the market on the outcome, I think that would be more like trading, but I'm not good at it.
Yeah, it's more entertaining.
It is.
And it makes it more fun, I would say.
Have you heard of the company? Well, I don't know if it could be Circa, which is a casino in Las Vegas that is getting into this space. I see the guy on TV all the time. He does an ad on TV. Big sports betting guy. He's done it all his life. And I think he owns Circa, owns the sports betting part of it. But I think they're coming to market with an app as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to look into them a little bit, but I think they're going to compete in this FanDuel DraftKings duopoly, as you say. So
yeah, it's going to be difficult unless you have a big backing behind you, like an MGM or something, or some sort of like big casino name. So I think the branding and the funding needs to go behind it. But
right.
I think obviously, I've said this before, when there are more players in the market, it's more competition, and that's the best for consumers because it keeps prices more reasonable.
Okay, good. All right, cool. I love it. Good stuff this week. Big plans this weekend?
This weekend, I have a friend's birthday. So we'll be in the city and awesome. And that's about it. Doing a lot of more reporting and reading and bringing you the latest from the markets.
Good. Get out in the sun and read a little bit. I love going out on nice days and doing my research.
Mm-hmm. I love that too. Yeah.
And good matching today. Wow.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, Paulina, thanks for that. It was awesome. As always, you have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week on the Brew. Oh, you know what? Before we go, think about changing the name of the brew.
Oh,
get all this out. Yeah, we might go something a little different. So stay tuned.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
All right, cool. Very good. Well, have a great weekend. I will talk to you next week.
Thanks. See you next week.
All right. Bye, Paulina.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.